Hey guys, welcome back. This is going to be part number 8 of digdug. I want to start putting the wiring in the cabinet, and I want to get the control panel wired up and get it bolted onto the cabinet. I did off camera, I went and cleaned the power supply, the power brick up. It had a lot of pitting in it, so I painted it gold. I just used some spray paint gold, and I just painted it up because I went to polish up the metal, and it had a lot of rust pitting and stuff, and it looked like crap. So I went ahead, I washed all the wiring, took everything apart, cleaned it all, put it all back together. Nice and clean now underneath and everything. I do have the bottom plate, metal plate that goes on here as well, which is right here. I cleaned this up too. So this goes in the bottom of the cabinet, you know, and this sits on top of it. And it all screws into the bottom of the cabinet like that. So we could put this in first. We can get the power supply put in there. We can get the board mounted. All that stuff will get going first, and then we'll start running the wiring. So let me get set up. Let me go grab the board and the power supply. And I don't know if I have all the mounting stuff for it, so we'll have to do whatever we have to do to get it mounted. So let me get set up. I'm going to spin this cabinet around, and we will start putting some of this stuff in. Okay, once I realized that since I put new sides on this cabinet, I didn't have the cleats that hold the power supply or the circuit board. So I have the manual here, the digdug manual, and in here, this is the upright, this is the cabaret. So we want to go with the upright. And if you see here, this is the shelf bracket right here. The PCB is just a little bit below the shelf bracket, and then the power supply is below that. So what I did, I went outside on my table saw and I cut new pieces of wood and I put a groove in them. So now we can get these in here and hopefully get the circuit board to pass by this piece of wood right here, which it should, but let's try it. Yeah, we should be able to get it past that wood. But so I'm looking at the board here, and let's start with the upper one. Looks like obviously we have to kind of just eyeball it, because I guess I could open the Kangaroo cabinet and look, but I think we'll be all right. So I'm just going to come down. Looks like it's about 3-4 inches down from that bracket. So let's get this first one installed, and it looks like it's not too far from the back. Worst case scenario, what we might have to do here is if this interferes, because these are new brackets right here. If this one interferes, I'll just cut it right here and we'll pop that part off if we have to. Because it still has these lower ones and it has it everywhere else to support the back door. So I'm not too worried about it. So let's go ahead and mount this first piece. I'm going to pre-drill it with a couple, oh, you know, I got to go find some screws. Because I made this 1 inch wide. So I need to find some screws that are at least like 1.5 inches long. So let me go find some screws. And then we will pre-drill a couple screws into the side, or into this wood, so that we can drive a screw into the side of the cabinet. So let me go see what I have for screws. Okay, I have some screws here. So we can mount these to the cabinet. So we'll get that done first. Let's move that manual out of the way. Oh boy. Craftsman, gotta love it. I want to get a bit that's big enough so the screw will pass through the wood and not grab on it. I think this one might work because my next size up I snapped it. So I need to get another 3/16 drill bit. But this should work. So we're going to put the hole more towards the top so we don't interfere with this groove that I cut into it. Two screws should be more than sufficient. Of course, now my bit is missing. I swear, everything's just everywhere lately. Nothing's in order. Kind of drives me nuts. All right, now I gotta go find a 1/4 inch bit, nut driver. Okay. We're just gonna kind of eyeball this, get it sort of straight here. That should be good. And it sticks through about that far. So if you're worried, you just check it and you can see that we're nowhere near that edge. You don't want to get this screw to where you're just about to go through, because going right to there, this being particle board, it's going to blow it out on you. Okay, here goes nothing. Say that looks pretty good there. I have to vacuum in the cabinet again. And this board goes on an angle, so we don't want to follow that. We kind of want to just make it sort of level. Now normally you'd probably want to start with the one on the bottom and then put the top one on, but I wanted to kind of get that in the right height. So by doing that, I had to kind of start at the top and work my way down. Trying to get this price tag off of here. This is poplar. I bought a piece of 1x4 poplar a while ago for some other brackets I made. I think it was for, oh, I made the top brackets for the MCR games, for the Tron, the Tapper, and the Journey. I think I made a metal bracket with the wood underneath it for all 3 of those games. So I had a big piece of this left over still, so I was able to make these brackets. I like this poplar because it's nice solid wood, and it doesn't tend to split and stuff really easily as long as you drill it. Okay, I do have my vacuum over here so we can re-vacuum everything up afterwards. The reason why I'm driving these all the way through first is just to make sure that they spin freely in the wood, so they don't get caught up. Okay, now we're going to stick this circuit board in here. And we got to get this bottom rail in, so we're going to have to kind of hold it up like this. It'll be a little bit of a pain, but we'll get it. Okay, I want to kind of get it in about the same spot as the top one, as close as possible. I'm going to let it down a tiny bit, just to give it a little bit of room to slide, which it does. I got to find my angle, right here it is, so that I can get to that back screw, because I cannot get it with the drill because of the coin boxes in the way. I really don't want to take stuff apart. Okay, so we have that in there. This top one doesn't have a cleat in the center of the back because there's a screw that goes through here. I did cut some pieces of 1/4 inch Luan right here to put back here like they did from the factory, and then they ran a screw through that into the cabinet. I'm thinking 2 thick is perfect. Now I got to go cut 2 more of them for the power supply. But let's go ahead and put the screw. So once we put this screw in here, that keeps the board from wanting to slide backwards and forward. Now, I think I'm going to leave this on here, because if I cut this cleat off up here, we're going to have a bare white spot from the old, from the melamine. So I'm just going to leave that like that. If I need to get this board out of here, I'll just take these 2 screws out of the top bracket and pull the board out. It's not that big a deal. I got to remove a screw regardless to get the board to slide out normally. Now this board has had a repair on this trace right here. It looks to be all right. It's a copper trace that they put over top and they soldered it, so hopefully it works. I bought this board working. I haven't tested it. Hopefully it works. I bought it and it said it was working, so we'll see what happens. It has a tag on here from TNT Amusement from December of 2005. They did work on it, and it says they did a caps, battery, plus 5 volt, resolder, mod, bridge, whatever that is. I'm thinking that's probably the bridges, probably they did that. That's what they called it. But anyways, let's get a screw for these here. Let's see, if we have 2 of these and that, we should be good. Okay. And I'll have to go cut 2 more pieces of Luan for the bottom. Should probably staple these together and staple them to the cabinet, really. But hopefully, I'm not going to have to take this back apart to really worry about it. But we'll see. I don't want to tighten it like crazy tight. But you know what I just thought of? I'll just put another screw over here through the blocks into the cabinet. And then, like I said, if I got to take it out, I'll just remove that and the 2 top cleats. It'll be just fine. So I'm going to grab a 3/4 inch long screw and we'll just put it through here. Split the wood a little bit, but it's fine. Okay, we're done with that. That's in place. Now we got to put this power supply in, and I want to see if this picture shows me which direction it goes in there, which it's not probably going to. I wonder if there's any other pictures in here that are going to show if it goes this way with these plugs on this side, or if it goes this way. I guess I can always rotate it if I choose wrong, which 9 times out of 10 I usually choose wrong, so I'll just plan on having to flip it over because that's how my luck works. Now the power supply shows a cleat on the back and the bottom, and then just 2 blocks right here. Does not have one on the top. So we will just duplicate that as well. I wish it showed me which direction this went in there, but I don't think it's going to. You know what? I'm going to go look and see if by chance the, I'll open the coin door. Oh, nice fuzz. I'll open the coin door on Kangaroo and see if I can see, and hopefully it's the same way. I would imagine, well, Centipede's mounted to the back of the wooden box for the coin door. So Kangaroo would be the only other one that would be correct, I think. Okay, according to the Kangaroo, this is towards the front of the cabinet. These are in the back. The Kangaroo power supply does not have this right here. This other 4-port one. So let's grab another one of these. And we're going to put it down here. We're going to put it right there. So I'm going to drill 2 holes again. Now I have a little one cut for the back of the power supply right here. So this goes on the back edge. So we're going to drill 2 holes through this. I know 2 screws is kind of a lot, but if I just put 1 screw, it'll pivot back and forth on the 1 screw. So we're going to put 2. Oh, I have a high score saver kit here that we need to put on that board, which hopefully it's not going to get in the way of this cleat right here, because I don't know if it's on one of these chips or I haven't even looked at it yet. Let me look and see. Usually it goes on one of those. I haven't even opened it yet. I'll have to look up the instructions to look. It's the Z80 CPU chip. Okay. The Z80 is in the back there. Center of the back. This game board has 3 Z80 chips on it. 3 of them. So, I don't know which one it goes on. But all 3 are in the back of the board. So we should be okay with fitting this on there. We'll put that on in a little while. I want to get it wired up and stuff first. That's the least of my worries, is that high score saver kit. So now we got to get this block on the back. I'm going to have to use my angle attachment again on my drill. But first I want to drive these through there so that we can get them to go through so they spin freely. These screws are a hair shorter than the PCB ones. I didn't have any more real long ones, but these are plenty fine. That power supply is really light. Plus it's going to get a screw there, so it'll be just fine. If you guys don't have one of these, I definitely recommend getting one. I had to tape the handle on because the handle kept falling off. But I have 2 different styles of these, but these things are a lifesaver to get into tight spots. Makes it a million times easier. So let's get this cleat put on. Okay, now I need to go upstairs and cut 2 more pieces of plywood so we can get that mounted right there. And then we will finally be able to start running some wiring up to the marquee, down the cabinet. I'll obviously leave these unplugged. The PCB unplugged. I'll plug in the power supply so that we can check voltages and everything. And then once we get all this in, I guess we can see if we can fire the game up, and then we can wire the control panel afterwards, probably on the next video, because we don't need the control panel to fire the game up to see if it works. So I'm going to go cut 2 more pieces of thin plywood here, and I'll be right back. Okay, I think I'm going to hold these 2 together and pre-drill these so that it doesn't split. Try not to drill through my finger. We'll put this one in first. Oh, we can be able to hold it. Okay. Need 2 screws. Sure we're not through, we're good. Beautiful. Okay, we are mounted. Let me grab my vacuum. I got a little cordless vacuum right here. We're gonna vacuum this dust off the floor and out of the inside of the cabinet real quick. new wiring harness here. Not new, but used wiring harness, I should say. You know what? Let's put the power brick in first. Let's wait. I don't remember where the power brick goes because that's a new bottom. So I'm not sure. And I need to find out which side this wiring goes on. If it goes up this side or this side to the marquee. I'm going to say it probably goes up this side. But I could be wrong. I don't know if it's going to show in here. I try to buy a book for every game I have because it's a lot easier to just look through this than to be online. Maybe this will show me here. I might have to open up the Kangaroo and look in there. Looks like it's coming up. Looks like it's coming up this side. And obviously I can't even look in there to see if there's screws, holes for screws, because I don't have the original side panels. Let me go look in the Kangaroo to double check. Yep, it goes up this side right here. So now we can start trying to figure out what height this needs to be at. This is monitor. This is marquee. So we will send the marquee up through here, through that slot up there. Then I got to get it through that other slot that's up there. That should be about right. Let me see here. Okay, that should be pretty good there. Let's put a screw up there to hold that in place. Okay. Now this is going to come over to here. And this will go over to the monitor, which is good. Now we'll probably have to put the monitor up on a stool or something to test it, because this wire's not going to be long enough. And then we come down. These are our wires for our interlock switch, which I'm wondering if I should maybe move that wiring up a little higher. Let me see here. No, marquee wire is pretty long. Okay, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go up higher on this one. Well, I don't know if I can. I guess I can a little bit. The monitor goes in. Let me see where the plug is on the monitor. See, I hope to use this monitor because it's a nice burn-free screen. There's very, very, very little burn-in. Okay, that monitor plug's pretty darn long, but we got to worry about this ground wire, which is pretty long too. So let's move this up a little bit so that these wires kind of go down to that area there. Yep, lost that one. I'll find it later. I think that's pretty good. And that'll work. One more right here. I guess we can stick the power brick in there. looks like it's going to go this way. This plug goes over to here, goes in this way. This plug right here goes over to here. And we have this plug, goes to this. Okay, that's plugged in. Now we can go ahead and put the other screws into this here. These ones are going to come around back this way, and it's going to come over to the power supply, looks like. For now, I am probably going to go ahead and plug in the PCB so that we can test it, or get the wires in the right spot. Now, okay, good. This has a keyway in it. This can only go on one way then. That's a good thing. That's on. These are our power wires for our power supply, which we're using this 9-pin and this 4-pin. We're not using the 6-pin. 9-pin, 4-pin. We got ground wires here. These need to go to the power brick. We have this power wire here, which goes over to the other. No, it doesn't. Or does it? I'm gonna have to look that up. I'm not sure on that one. I think it goes to that side, but don't quote me on that. I think you can plug these in wrong. Because this plug over here is the same as that one. I'm not sure on that. I definitely need to look into that before I even think about turning this thing on. These are our monitor wires for our video right here. I'm not sure what that is. Maybe for a different video connection, video type connection. All right, now we need wires to go over to the coin door and control panel, which are these here. These are our coin door wires. Let's just see if this one is the right one. It's got to be. It's the only one that is 9 pins. So this is going to be our coin door wires, I think. Probably help if I put it on the right way. There we go. So that goes there. That means this is our control panel, which I can verify that actually, I believe, by my, I don't think that is it. I think this one's it. I wrote down in here, just for quick reference, so I don't have to look around, the wire colors for the control panel. If I can find what page, here we go. I did a quick reference here, and I wrote down what color wires are on that harness. Gray, blue, green, violet. The only thing I'm not seeing, this is a gray. White and a black stripe, because one of these go to the, I'll bet you this one goes to the test switch. This one goes to the test switch because it's right next to the coin door. This one goes to the control panel. But let's see if we can verify that. We have a violet wire. We have a green wire. Orange wire is power for the one LED light on player 2 start. Should be a red wire for player 1 start, which I'm not seeing. So that means this is it, I think. So we have a red wire. None of these are matching up. That's interesting. Oh, you know what? We have this here. This will probably help us out. Let's see here, green, red's down there. Okay, this green lines up. Nope, that doesn't fit. This is too many. Now this here, this is from a different game, so I can't really rely on this too much. Might have to repin it. Obviously we have too many plugs on here as well, so we're gonna have to put a new end on this. So I can't really go by this either. I mean, the colors on here look like they're kind of corresponding with the colors on here somewhat. I have to look that up too, but I'm pretty much gonna bet this probably goes to here and this one goes up to the control panel. But we will definitely verify that. Let's get this, I'm gonna screw this wire in. Let's get this over here. I like to try to get a little tight tension on these wires. Just a little bit so they're not sagging and dangling all over the place. I'll probably have to unscrew that to plug it into the monitor to test it. These ones need to work their way over to there. Just making sure these wire colors line up, which they do. Orange or yellow, orange, yellow, orange. We have a double black, green, blue, blue. The violet's not the same. But we'll see what happens. I think that's going to be all right. These old wiring harnesses are stiff. I mean, this could be a, for all I know, this might be a Cabaret wiring harness. I don't know. That's all I know is for digdug. We're going to put these underneath these other power wires. See, I'm not convinced that this is plugged in right. This one right here. So I don't want to go screwing it in the wrong spot. Let's put these two ground wires onto the power brick, and that'll kind of give me a determination of where the wires need to go to. We're going to use this outside terminal here. I don't know if I have a nut driver that size over here or not. No, I do not. Got a pair of pliers over here. Nope. All right, I'm gonna go grab one so we can tighten up those ground wires. Okay. I wonder if the Kangaroo wiring is the same color. I'll have to go look. But I know you can plug that power supply that one wire in the wrong side and fry it. Okay. Let's screw myself up there a little bit, but that's okay. Let's pull this back out. And we're gonna go right along the bottom of this power supply right there. I don't know how exactly they did these back in the day, as far as did they just have some sort of a template with these pre-drilled, or did they kind of just in their heads put them in the close to the same spot from game to game. By theory, the length of that you would think would be control panel, and this would definitely be coin door. By the length of these wires, I mean, it makes total sense, because this one comes to here, which would go over to here. But we'll just leave them unplugged for now. It's not a big deal. So basically now I need to figure out these heavy set of wires here. I need to figure out which side these plug onto. I'm going to look it up, and also I'm going to look on the Kangaroo, and we'll see if there's a difference between the two. Okay, I looked it up. What I came up with, let me lower this down, on the Kangaroo, it's using this port, which is J6. When I look up the wiring diagram for this game, it is going to this one. On the drawing for this power supply, it is not even showing that half of the power supply. So this might not be the right power supply for in here. It should work just fine. I believe these are pretty universal. I think that maybe it's for a different game. Whether or not they put this style power supply in these or not, I'm not sure. But they're definitely using this right here. So they're using J6, J7, and J8. What order does this go in? 6, 7, 8. So that's what they're saying. So fingers crossed. If not, there'll be a bunch of magic smoke. Hopefully that doesn't happen. But this right here, these two wires are speaker. So, and you know what? Speaking of speaker wires, I don't see speaker wires. I don't see a speaker wire. So, looks like we're going to be making a speaker wire. I don't know where the heck they're at. Back this up a little bit here. Kind of bring this up, because the speaker wire should be going up this side right here. Now, if they're saying that this is speaker coming out of the amp, the audio, the power supply, did somebody cut these wires, or did they go into the PCB and then out of it? I mean, I don't know if it stays the same color. I'm going to have to look back at the wiring diagram. Let me rifle through the wiring diagram again, and I'll come back. Okay, I was wrong on that. White and brown coming down this side is our speaker wires. They're coming down. They're going down here. They're coming through. They're breaking off into this harness here. And then they are turning this way, coming down the bottom here into this connector. This connector is, they're still brown and white. Looks like the brown and white are going, trying to see here. Kind of looks like they're going into this plug here, unless that's a different set of brown and white. These are really hard to trace. I do see the braided brown and whites right here. They're going up to the board. Okay, so we have a braided set of brown and whites going into the board. And then we have an orange and white coming out of this power supply, which are braided. So I got to see if I can find some braided orange and white. See, I don't know this. I didn't take this apart. These parts are all been purchased separately. So I'm basically shooting at the hip here. Trying to look through wiring diagrams, trying to trace wires, trying to figure out how this is set up. Because, I mean, I probably just plug it in and it's going to work, you know what I mean? But I want to know what makes it work. So that's why I'm trying to trace wires here. It probably might be a little boring, and I'm not even pointing the camera at what the heck I'm doing. But anyways, so what I'm doing here now is I'm just trying to trace some wires and try to figure out how they have this set up. So I have the brown and white wires are coming down. They're coming along here. They're going into this connector. The brown and white wires are right here. They're braided together. They're coming up to the PCB, or vice versa. They're coming down from the PCB. But anyways, at some point, this orange and white is braided together. That works its way over to here. So this right here determines that this plug right here is for this, because we have our volume knobs. I think this might be for a pole position or something, but we're going to make this work. But anyways, we have our orange and white braided wires right here. So now I know that that's where they go. So we have our orange and brown braided, orange and white braided, and I think the brown and white, here's the brown and white braided wires. Okay, so what's happening is they're coming into here to get to that volume knob so that you can turn the volume up and down to the speaker. Okay, so this is for sure plugging into this. But we only have 3, 6, 9, 12 pins. On here, we have 3, 6, 9, 12, 16 pins. So what we need to do is we need to pull all the pins out of this with our remover. We're going to remove them all out of this connector. We're going to pop this connector off. We are going to repin. We're going to get the right connector that plugs into this one, and we're going to take these wires and put them in the right location on this. This has 2 volume knobs. We only have 1 speaker. So we clearly don't need both volume knobs. So like I said, this has to be a pole position one, because the pole position has 2 speakers. So I would guess that's what this is for. Because this definitely didn't come out of this cabinet. Because I took the one that was in this cabinet because I didn't have one for Kangaroo. And I knew that this was a Kangaroo one, so I took the Kangaroo one out of there. And I'm betting that this is for sure a pole position one. But that's fine. We don't need to use both of these volume knobs. They should be the same resistance. Well, I'll check them. I'll look them up and make sure it's the same ones. But what we'll be able to do then is, like, this brown wire is not even attached. That goes to here. But we're going to have to figure out how this is wired so that we can hook it up correctly. There will be a couple extra wires left over because we're not going to use, there's 14 out of the 16. 3, 6, 9. Yeah, there's 14 out of the 16 used here. So, and in there is 12 wires. So there's 12 wires on this. There's 14 on this, minus 2 wires, which would be probably this other volume, would put it right at 12. So if my theory is correct, and I somewhat know what I'm talking about, or I could just be randomly rambling on about something I could be completely wrong about. But we are going to figure it out. So I think now I need to get the power cord, which I need to fix the power cord because the power cord is missing the ground lug, of course, per usual, because every power cord I get is losing the ground lug. So, but we can test it. without, I don't want to plug the monitor in, but I can always test it without that. I don't know if I have another one. I might have to run up to Home Depot and get one. But this goes in here, slides in there. I got to get 2 screws so we can screw that in. And this plugs right into the side of the power brick right here. So we can get that plugged in. I can basically get this power brick screwed down too, because I like where it's at. Has good access. So let me screw that in real quick. Grab a couple screws. I don't even know if my camera's even remotely in the right position. I apologize if it's not. It's kind of a tight area to work in. But I'm going to grab 4 screws here and we'll get that brick screwed down. There's 3. My 4th one is here that I dropped earlier. Okay, that's screwed in. I got to grab a couple screws to screw in this. I think it just sits in there, but I'm going to put a screw in it so it doesn't pop back up. Because I don't see any screw holes, and this is the original back panel. And then we need to hook up the power switch. Okay. Now the power switch is currently attached. You know what? Are these power switch wires? Is there no... There's got to be an interlock switch. Am I wrong? I thought this was interlock. This power switch goes right here. And these are definitely the correct wires for the power switch. Huh. Why would there be no interlock wires? Are they cut? Very odd. Did digdug not have... They had to have it. I'm going to have to look that up and see. I mean, I always try to hook them up when I have them. Maybe this case I don't have them. Everything's plugged in. I don't see any cut wires anywhere. Because the interlock switch would be somewhere in this area. I mean, Kangaroo has an interlock switch. I need a screw right there. Centipede has an interlock switch, I believe. Or does it just have one on the front? But this doesn't even have one on the front either. I find that very odd. And this is what you get into when you don't have... See, okay, now this harness, I know that this one is out of a Kangaroo. This came out of this cabinet. And if you look here, there's these... Well, this would be a speaker wire. Unless Kangaroo doesn't use the brown and white as a speaker wire. But we have cut wires here. These are speaker wires. Somebody cut the speaker wires. I'm trying to think. Yeah, those are speaker wires. But these black and white are cut. This is our monitor. So this would have came down like this. It would have came like this. Oh man, I'm trying to freaking camera. Half of my videos is not even camera. Not even in the camera. Ay, ay, ay. All right, so this is the old Kangaroo harness that was in this cabinet. It was something like this, and it has this black and white wire here, and then the power switch was there. So they had an interlock switch right in here. I guess I could cut one in if I wanted to, but I'm just going to leave it alone because none of these wires are cut. So let's just plug in our power switch into these ones. So I'm going to do one at a time in hopes that I get them in the right order, which I don't know that it really matters. Let's just take this one off first, if I can get them off. Screwdriver. See if I can gently pry these off. There's one. I'm going to keep them in groups. These two are wound together. So I want to take these two off at the same time. Okay, and then we'll put these two that are wound together back in. Okay, now we can do the other two. And then we can get this screwed into the back of the cabinet. And then I will probably end this video because I don't know how long it is. It's probably getting pretty long. And in the next video, we will get stuff powered on and see what happens. So let's get this screwed in here. Line up the old holes. And I'm guessing there was no rear interlock switch or front interlock switch on this, on digdug. Unless somebody can tell me, if somebody has a digdug, I'm just not really going to worry about it. I mean, it's not like I'm an operator or I'm worried about having it on location and somebody getting in the back and getting zapped because the game stays on. But I do like to make it right in case I sell it. Somebody else has it, you know, they're going to want it right. Ow. I need to vacuum this out again. Okay. Switch might even be broken. I think it's broken. I have to get a new switch. I might have one. This one's definitely broken. Oh yeah. Flopping in the breeze. I'll have to go see if I have another one. All right, I'm going to end this video. This is part 8. We are getting somewhere. I apologize for my crappy camera work. It's very hard to move around and stay focused on what I'm working on with the camera and everything else. But we are getting there. I will do a kind of a close-up of everything once I finally get it where it needs to go. So let's end part 8 right here. If you guys are liking what you see, please like, subscribe. Have any comments, definitely feel free to send them. Any questions also. If anybody can share a digdug cabinet inside for me, just to make sure I'm kind of in the right realm of things, that would be awesome. A couple pictures would go a long way. Other than that, I appreciate it, and I will see you guys later.